Thanks for letting me stay on with your crew, Captain. I plan to be a very generous queen to all my friends.
I can see we're gonna get along just fine, your high exaltedness.
Don't start with that. Risha will do fine. For now. Every captain needs a good first mate. Corso doesn't know what it takes to run a starship. But I do. Considering the light years you've been racking up, I suggest a hyperdrive overhaul and a sublight engine tune-up. Which do you want first?
The last thing we need is to get stranded in deep space. Keep my hyperdrive hyper.
Consider it done. I'll be indispensable before you know it. Bet you were surprised to see I can hold my own in a fight. I'm pretty good with a blaster. My father taught me to shoot when I was 4 years old.
Sounds like Nok didn't give you much of a childhood.
Are you kidding? His lieutenants were terrified of me. They let me do whatever I wanted. Father wanted me self-sufficient as early as possible. Said I'd need it to survive. He was right. I still remember the day he told me he was going to sleep for a while. Said I was on my own.
Nok was in that carbonite for a decade. Weren't you still counting birthdays on one hand?
I was 11. Made my first solo hyperspace jump and flew to Dantooine. Father had a hideout there. Talk about your one bantha planets. For a few years, Dantooine's population was doubled thanks to me and Father frozen in carbonite.
You talk a lot about Nok, but you've never mentioned your mother.
She died when I was young. I don't remember her. Looking back, I should have been miserable. But it was just a big adventure. Speaking of which, we're overdue for some more excitement. What do you say we get back to our latest caper? Sometimes I can't believe you actually got back my crown. Do you know how many spacers died looking for it? Don't take this the wrong way, but when we first met, I thought you'd end up like all the others.
I never thought you had anything less than total confidence in me.
I learned pretty fast not to underestimate you. What I'm really saying is, thanks. I wouldn't be where I am without you.
You don't have to thank me, Risha. We're not business partners anymore.
That's all the more reason to say something. Anyway, didn't mean to slow us down. I'm sure we have plenty to do. I think I figured out why we get along so well, Captain. We're both restless people. It's how we survive. Trouble loves us, and we just keep on moving. Eventually, trouble gets tired of following and gives up.
I've attracted some awfully persistent trouble.
Some people are lucky that way. There wasn't nearly enough trouble growing up on Dantooine. After being a crime lord's daughter, sitting around got dull real quick. I had a big library of holo recordings from my father, but I could only watch them so many times.
Never figured Nok for the sentimental type. He left you a bunch of holos dispensing his life's wisdom?
If by wisdom you mean teaching me how to become a criminal, then yes. He was a good teacher. Very detail-oriented. By the time I was 14, I'd had enough. I buried Father's carbonite chamber someplace safe and hit the hyperlanes with a new identity. Those were good times. I met Juran and Adila, got mixed up with Beryl Thorne, lived a life of crime.
Every time I see some idiot scrubbing tables at a cantina, I think of how lucky I am.
Normal jobs are for people who aren't smart enough to earn a real living. I'm starting to enjoy these chats, but I'm feeling restless. Let's go find some trouble. I envy you, Captain. You'll always be free to do as you please. That all changes for me, once I'm a queen.
The Brilliant is getting along fine without you. Do what makes you happy.
Ruling a planet has its perks. I should at least give it a try. I've studied records about the Drayen dynasty. They started from humble beginnings, distinguished themselves as war heroes, officially anyway. In reality, they backstabbed their way to power just like every other ruler. Some were better at it than others.
If they'd been able to hold on to power, you'd already be queen.
It only takes one bad ruler to topple a dynasty, and my great-grandfather was good at burning bridges. Father had his failings, but he inspired loyalty. Whenever he defeated a rival gangster, he always freed the enemy slaves. He gave them a choice. Join him or take their chances elsewhere. No recriminations for anyone who left. The rest became family.
Interesting way to recruit new talent. How many slaves actually signed on?
Those people had a lot of anger issues. Most were excited to have a job that let them express it. There was this one little Twi'lek girl who joined us. Best thief I ever met. Got into all sorts of trouble together. We were like sisters, but when Father's organization collapsed, we got separated. I never found out what happened to her.
Never too late to find her. If she's as good a thief as you say, she might come in handy.
That was a long time ago. Sometimes it's better to leave the past alone. You're really bringing out my chatty side today. That usually means I need to get some exercise. Let's find something more exciting to do than stand around. I'm reviewing the holovids of Dubrillion. Beautiful planet. Amazing oceans and forests. One of these days I'll have to see it in person.
How can you be sure the planet's even worth ruling? For all you know, it smells like a wet bantha.
I hire Bothan spies to pose as tourists and record everything for me. Even the smells. Father warned me to stay away from that planet before he went into hibernation. The spaceport has genetic scanners keyed to the Drayen bloodline. The King's doing everything in his power to keep me away. I'm not taking over without inside help. Until then, I have the holovids. If I'm going to take over Dubrillion, I can't keep looking for allies in the same old places. The scum of the galaxy isn't as useful when you're stealing a throne. I need a better class of accomplices.
No matter what you're stealing, you can always use a little scum to grease the works.
I already have that covered, Captain. You're worth 100 normal scum. And I mean that in the nicest way. There are some interesting rumors out of Dubrillion. Turns out the aristocracy is unhappy with the king. Some nobles are secretly rebelling.
Get those idiots to wipe each other out. They'll leave you a nice big power vacuum to fill.
I don't want to inherit an empty treasury, or a blood feud. Dubrillion is turning into another Alderaan. A new queen could prevent that, assuming she had the aristocracy's support. But that means taking this game to a new level. You up for that?
You're the one steering the ship. I'm just along for the ride.
That's not exactly true, but thanks for the vote of confidence. That was confidence, right? I've put out feelers to some key Dubrillion nobles. When one of them bites, be ready to pounce. In the meantime, we have plenty of other business to keep us occupied. My search for allies in Dubrillion's aristocracy has been interesting. Got an offer from a lesser baron. What a piece of work. Guy must think I'm an idiot. Took 2 minutes to verify he's a spy for the king. He was baiting me into a trap.
Know what I like to do with traps? Turn them against whoever set them.
Just one more thing we have in common. I sent the spy a phony meeting request from Nar Shaddaa. He's sending friends to help me. They're in for a surprise. Couple of Hutts owe me a favor. They promised to record the whole thing. I'll send the king a copy. Never thought I'd say this, but you're my favorite partner in crime. You make beating the odds look easy, Captain.
That may be the biggest compliment you've ever paid me.
I like to mix a little praise with the insults. Keeps you off balance. I've definitely learned a few dirty tricks from watching you work. Think I might have found a few of my own. We'll find out at our next death-defying showdown. I can't wait. You probably think I'm chasing Dubrillion's throne to get rich, don't you?
Credits are just a means to an end. You must want all that money for something.
I've seen what bad leadership does to a place. Alderaan, Nar Shaddaa, even Coruscant. They all suffer because of who's in power. I'm not looking to plunder Dubrillion. I want to make it better. Run their society the right way.
From everything I've heard about your homeworld, it could use someone decent in charge.
Never thought of myself as decent before. Maybe I can sell that. Every successful leader has the same strength. They're perceived as generous by their subjects. Give the people just enough of what they want, and they'll leave you alone. That's something the King of Dubrillion doesn't understand.
You can't give people what they want if you can't afford it. Maybe Dubrillion isn't as wealthy as you think.
It's wealthy enough to support an aristocracy. Of course, they need to get paid off too. I can make this work. It's all about negotiation, and I'm good at that. I'm just thinking out loud now. We should get back to business. The longer I spend here, the more it feels like home. I'm even starting to appreciate Corso. Must be coming down or something. Promise me you'll visit often when I'm Queen of Dubrillion.
I'll visit so often you'll have to build an extra wing onto the palace.
Why not? How about a private landing pad to go with it? It'd be nice to sneak away with you for the occasional break. Go someplace dangerous. Steal something expensive. Mock the bad guys. When you think about it, being queen of a planet provides the perfect alibi. We should take advantage of that. Guess who found a potential accomplice in the Dubrillian aristocracy? Feast your eyes on this hollow-embossed, genuine flimsoplast invitation. See that fancy Arabesh lettering? Hand-drawn, in ink, classy. Count Merit Reneld requests the favor of your presence at a discreet location in the Galactic Senate Tower on Coruscant at a time of your choosing.
Does that invitation say why Baron Fancy Pants needs a face-to-face? Why can't he talk to you by holo?
Nobles are like gangsters. They won't crew with someone they've never met in person. Count Reneld is one of the most popular nobles on Dubrillion. He's also secretly organizing a rebellion against the king. His invitation is addressed to Risha Drayen, royal heir to the Drayen dynasty. He's taking me very seriously.
I didn't think you were broadcasting your true identity.
I had no choice. Risha from Nar Shaddaa doesn't carry the same weight as Risha the future queen. I'm contacting him by holo to arrange our meeting. Wanted you here to help me get a read on him. Opening a channel. Whoa.
This is a tremendous moment, your royal heiress. I grew up hearing tales of the Drayen dynasty, the great battles your ancestors fought. I never believed I'd meet a member of that proud bloodline in person. You have my deepest sympathies for your family's exile.
We don't have all day. Stop sucking up and get to the point.
You must be the starship captain who recovered the crown of Dubrillion. My world is in your debt.
The king wants that crown, and my head. He won't be happy if he finds out we're talking.
The man has lost all reason. He must be removed from power, but in a way that spares our world a bloody civil war. I believe the common people and aristocracy alike would embrace the Drayen dynasty heir, especially if she wears the crown of Dubrillion.
I doubt your current ruler will abdicate just because Risha has a better hat.
The king's power base is already unstable. It will crumble under the right pressure. Right now, you are an outsider. The only way to change that is to marry someone from the existing aristocracy.
Get married? To who?
Well, the only available suitor is... Great stars, this is awkward. I am offering myself in marriage to you.
You sound a little nervous, Count. Is your heart really in this?
Forgive my hesitance. I only feared insulting the lady with my abruptness. The circumstances are far from ideal. I understand my proposal is abrupt, but I wished to make my intentions clear and not waste your valuable time. I certainly don't expect an immediate response. All I ask is that you consider this for the good of Dubrillion.
That'll be easier to do once we've met in person. I'm on my way to Coruscant. See you there, Count. Well, that wasn't awkward at all.
That was the worst blind date ever. You've known this guy all of 2 minutes and he proposes marriage? Crazy.
This isn't romance, it's just politics. Under the circumstances, I should probably take this meeting alone. Be back soon, Captain. Never talked to a complete stranger for that long before. Count Reneld gives to charities, builds orphanages, creates wildlife preserves, and those are just his hobbies. You ever consider we've been wasting our lives?
I do everything for one reason. To get rich. It's straightforward, easy to remember, and works amazingly well most of the time.
Ah, the simple life. Anyway, I left the negotiations open. I told the Count I needed time to think about his proposal. That'll give me a chance to run a deep background check. If this guy is as good as he seems, he just might help me overthrow the king without getting married. Count Reneld is a man of his word. He sends me daily updates about his rebellion's progress. Incredibly sweet, beautifully written updates. I knew taking Dubrillion's throne would be a challenge, but this is getting complicated. Merit's every bit the man he appears to be. Even the dirt I've dug up on him turned out clean.
I can't wait to hear what skeletons are rattling around his royal closet.
He stole the crown jewels when he was 5, got a slap on the wrist, and he's been clean ever since. Seriously. Nothing about this guy triggers warning bells. When it comes to husbands, I could do a lot worse. I'll stop bothering you. I needed to talk, and you're the only person who understands me.
I'm always here if you need me.
I'm sure there's trouble somewhere with our name on it. What do you say we go take all its credits? I was prepared for almost anything if it meant becoming queen. Foiling assassination attempts, fighting wars, bunking on this ship for years. Just kidding. Marrying the Count was never part of the plan. Can I really do that?
Never back yourself into a corner, I always say. The Count seems nice right now, but someday he'll be fat and old.
The medtechs on Dubrillion can work miracles. I've seen 80-year-olds passing for 20. That's what I plan to do. Ugh. I hadn't even thought about producing heirs. Not that he wouldn't be a great father. This conversation's officially given me a headache. Let's go do something outrageous. Things on Dubrillion have taken a turn. The Kings put a death mark on Count Renald's head. When the citizens heard that, they rebelled. The King imposed martial law to stop the rioting. But that got the aristocracy riled up. The whole planet's going to war.
Sounds like the Count's plan to avoid bloodshed by marrying you just went up in flames.
We were never going to unseat the King without a fight. I just hoped we'd pick the time and place. Needless to say, the Count has his hands full just staying alive. But even with all that's happened, he still wants to marry me. I can't keep putting him off. Any advice how I should play this?
The death mark puts a lot of pressure on a person. If you're gonna let him down, be gentle.
There's no good way to shoot a man down, especially one who's running for his life. Oh, perfect. Time's up. That's him calling on the Hollow. All right, let's do this. Merritt, I'm glad you're safe. From what I hear, the fighting got worse after you escaped.
I cannot spare Dubrillion from war, but perhaps we can still create a better future together. I realize forging a true relationship takes time, and our marriage won't be consummated for some time, but I am hopeful. My proposal stands, dear Risha. Will you marry me?
Count, could you excuse us for a minute? The way I see it, this guy hasn't given you nearly enough gifts to tie you down forever. I say you lead him on for a while and see just how serious he is about you.
I wasn't gonna marry him anyway. I don't want to spend my honeymoon running for my life. Merritt, I feel like we're rushing into things. We should take our time. For the good of Dubrillion.
You're absolutely right. Let us part as friends. Farewell, Risha. May the stars watch over you.
That ended better than I expected. Except for that whole part with my world being at war.
You'll be Queen of Dubrillion someday.
I'll have my throne if I have to build it myself. That's enough politics and relationship issues for one day. Let's go steal something expensive. I always feel better after a good caper. I've been getting reports on the war for Dubrillion. It's dragging into a stalemate. Nobody has a clear advantage yet. I want to get more involved with the war effort, but my allies tell me the best thing I can be is a symbol.
Don't listen to those people. If you want to fight for your planet, just do it.
Problem is, they're right. I'm 100 times more effective as a rallying point for people who oppose the king. The minute I open my mouth and start talking politics, I risk losing support. I can't afford that right now. Guess I'm stuck on the sidelines until it's over. At least I have company. I've been thinking about the future a lot lately, and I had a funny realization. Every scenario I see, you're in it. I've never let myself get close to anyone. Not even my friends from the old days. But you're more than a friend. You're the closest thing I have to family.
Does that make me part of your noble bloodline? Will I have to learn that crazy Dubrillion accent?
Don't worry about it. My first edict as queen will be to teach everyone on the planet how to speak proper basic. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I promise to always be there. Not just for you, but everyone you care about. That's as mushy as I'm getting. Back to finding trouble.